Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week I take a close look at the real estate market here in the Villages. I'm going to orient you as to where the Villages is located. We are in Central Florida. The map you're looking at is showing you all active listings on the MLS as of today. Size of the circle denotes the size of the home, and the color of the circle denotes its price per square foot. That will be the case for all these maps that I show you, and you can see that it does indeed locate each home individually. The Villages is a 55 plus community. We have golf courses spread throughout, championship and executive. We have recreation, shopping, dining, and live entertainment in four town squares every night of the week. If you want to know what's happening to the real estate market here, what long term trends are, where properties are selling, where they aren't selling, this is the show for you. I'm going to break the Villages into four distinct geographic regions so you can compare between them. And a couple of things to note, the Villages has two distinct real estate marketplaces, the MLS and the VLS. The VLS is the Village's own internal marketplace. It's the only place you'll find new listings, but pre-owned homes are both on VLS and MLS. So if you're a buyer and you're only seeing VLS or you're only seeing MLS, you're only seeing about half of the properties available for sale. All of the information I'm presenting here is drawn from the MLS. The other point is that we produce this show every Monday. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. And as you look at this video, you get some sense as to the wide variety of homes available here. But it's worth noting that whether you have the least expensive home or the most expensive home, you have the same use of the amenities: golf, pickleball, recreation centers, swimming pools, etc. If you need to reach me, I can be reached either at DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to help you with any questions you have. If you're a buyer looking for a good deal, I think you'll find our data-driven approach will help you find one. And if you're a seller, I think you'll find our approach will help you justify the highest reasonable asking price. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening in the Villages real estate market this week. We're going to start by taking a look at all listings on the MLS, and this is just one of the data points that is fairly positive this week. This week we're at 576 active listings, down noticeably, as you can see, from over 700 earlier this year. It's worth noting that the lowest number of listings that we saw this year was in January when there were 558 active listings. It's very possible we're going to see lower levels even than that in the weeks ahead. We're going to focus on all listings for the moment, but a little later I'll be showing you how the different regions of the Villages compare in activity levels, and you'll see where the pending home sales took place over the last week, and also the new listings and the homes closing. This week, the median time on the market for all MLS listings is 73 days. It has remained 73 days for the last 3 weeks. Haven't seen any change in this measure yet. This is one of the most popular data points. This is the listing price per square foot for all MLS listings, 250.34 a foot. This is the lowest level we've ever seen in the Villages, but it's nice to see that we are still holding over 250 a foot. Now let's take a look at the different regions of the Villages and get some sense as to where activity is taking place. I've divided the Villages into four geographic regions. The first is the north. This is everything south of Highway 42 and north of Highway 466. This includes Spanish Springs Town Square. And you can see that this week the north has 264 active listings. The second area is the area I'm calling the Mid-North. This is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. The Villages really began construction in the north and has been expanding south ever since. This week, 156 active listings. Once more, the size of the circle denotes the size of the property. Bigger the circle, bigger the home. And the color denotes its price per square foot. The more expensive per square foot, the brighter the color. This area is referred to as between the sixes, still one of the more popular parts of the Villages due to its proximity to so many amenities. This is the Mid-South. We're getting into the newer part of the Villages now. This is everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. This week, 61 active listings. And the fourth area is the south. This is everything south of Highway 44. You can really get a good sense as to the direction of the village's growth. 95 active listings in this area this week. Before I get into the differences between the regions, let's take a look at the villages as a whole. This week, 576 active listings. You can see the smallest, largest home and median size, similar, least expensive, most expensive, and median price, and also on a per foot basis, the least, highest, and median. Now let's take a look at how the different regions compare. You can see that I've broken the information down into the north, mid-south, and south regions. You can see how many listings there are active this week in each of the regions, and the size ranges, price ranges, and per foot ranges with medians for each of these regions. We're going to look at listings just for a moment longer. This is designed to give you some perspective as to what price ranges are popular here in the villages. You can see 576 total listings on the MLS, and you can see how many properties are being offered for sale in each of these price buckets. The most active price segment, the $300,000 to $400,000 range, 209 active listings this week in that price range. And for people who like to focus on price per square foot, here is a graphic showing you how many properties are available in each of these price segments. You can see that the most active price segment is essentially the 225 to 275 price range. There are 293 active listings this week between 225 a foot and 275 a foot. It's also important to note that price per square foot, which is a metric that we focus on generally, doesn't really capture some of the variables that are in play here in the villages. For example, things that are highly valued by village residents are things like privacy and view and location. Price per square foot doesn't really capture that data. This is more of a summary of the information I've shown you before. Here you're looking at how many properties are active in each of the regions, how many went pending over the previous 60 days, and how many closed over the last 60 days. For example, in the north, 264 active listings this week. In the south, 95. If the number is an increase from the previous week, it's highlighted in green. If it's a decrease, it's highlighted in red. If you're focused on the age of the home that you'll be purchasing, this graphic gives you a good idea as to how old the homes are in each of the different regions. You can see the year of construction and how many listings there are for that year of construction. The villages began in the north, as I said. Construction continued south, and the south really only began to be built out around 2020. Now we'll look at what changed over the last 7 days. The graph you're looking at is a smooth 4 week average. I will show you the actual data point week by week, but for now, let's just focus on the average. The number of new listings week by week is in red, and the pending home sales is the blue line. The average for the last 4 weeks is showing a reading of -1, which would mean one more home being listed than going pending. But as you'll see when I show you the actual weekly data point, the data is actually a lot healthier than this. This is week by week data showing you the difference between new listings and pending home sales. Zero line indicates just as many homes going pending as being listed. Readings above the zero line show more homes going pending than being listed. Last week, 14 more homes went pending than were listed. On this map, you can see the location of the 51 homes that went pending over the last 7 days. You can see it stretches from the north to the south, but most of the activity seems focused around the middle of the villages still. This is a graph that shows you the median time on the market for the homes that went pending last week, 52 days, down quite dramatically week over week. Here we're looking at the median price per square foot for the homes that went pending. We're looking at a smooth 4 week average. 240.15 a foot is the 4 week average. You can see that it's risen very slightly over the last week or so. Here we look at what the price change was for the homes going pending over the last week. We're looking at a smooth 4 week average. 6.7% is the median reduction from the original asking price for the homes going pending last week. But it's worth noting that even though the average over the last 4 weeks is 6.7%, week over week, this reduction dropped from 8.04% to 5.97%. which is quite a dramatic improvement. Now we'll take a look at the homes that closed last week. This is the location of those 30 homes. You can get some sense as to where activity is focused. Once again, these are the homes closing last week. Here we're looking at how long the homes that closed last week were on the market. 61 is the 4-week average. It's worth noting that the highest ever average for the median days on the market for homes closing was only 62. But last week, in actual fact, it had dropped from 76 days for the previous week to 60 and a half days. 76 days was the longest time period that we've ever seen. This chart is showing you the 4-week average of the median price per square foot for the homes closing over the previous week, 238 a foot, a very small improvement from the previous week. We're still very much at the lower end of the range here. This is a graph showing you activity for homes actually closing. It is a smooth 4-week average. As I said, the actual data point for last week was 30. The 4-week average is 33 and 3/4, and you can see that it dropped dramatically from over 45. If you find this information valuable, please consider subscribing to the channel or liking the video or even commenting on the video. We do read comments, and if you have any suggestions on graphs that we think the audience will find interesting, we'll be happy to include them. One of the questions I get asked most often is when is a good time to buy or sell? Here you can get some sense as to seasonality on sales activity in real estate in the villages. You can see week by week how many sales there were. The weeks of the year are the x-axis below, and the number of sales, the y-axis to the left. You can see 2025, the red line, that we are pretty much following the sales activity levels of 2023 and 2024. But it's worth noting that the number of properties in the villages continues to increase. So if we don't see sales levels increase over time, that does imply slowing of activity. This is the same data I just showed you, but here we're looking at a smooth 4-week average. You can see 2025, the red line. We had a very high level of sales a couple of weeks ago. We're moving back to normal levels of activity now. And this is showing us how many weeks of inventory are represented by current levels of sales and listings. Sales have dropped quite dramatically over the last couple of weeks, as I said, and because of that, you can see that inventory is climbing once again. We're up to 20 weeks of inventory, not far off 6 months worth. Now we'll look at all listings once again, and here we're looking at what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original asking price. 61.46% have. We had been dropping over the last couple of weeks, but as you can see, the number of owners who have reduced their asking price is moving higher again. And this is the median price reduction, i.e., 4.55% is the median price reduction from the original asking price for all MLS listings this week. It is good seeing it below 5%, but as you can see, levels of 4.5% have been fairly rare until recently. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal here in the villages, or you're a seller and you're trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me at either DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to research properties for you, answer questions about life in Central Florida or life in the villages itself. If you have any questions, once again, DavidisinFlorida.com, DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Please reach out if you have any questions. Hope to hear from you. Take care.